Hey guys. Ooh. She's getting big. 20 more days with this big old baby belly. Well,
there he is.
all right. See you later. How do you even start this video? Whoops. Whoopsies. How old are you now? I had a baby. He's so big now.
A long time ago.
A long time ago. I know. Whoops. I guess we should introduce our child to you all. This is Charles. He does not go by Charles. This is Chip. Chip, say hello to the camera. Aww. Chip is almost 12 weeks old. He's 11 and a half weeks old.
Wow.
Which is crazy. So Chip was born, well, first of all, his full name, I guess I should say, Charles Edward Tucker. He was born July 29th at 3:28 p.m. and it was like 110 degrees outside. Although that didn't really affect us much, but that was notable. It was notable. There were, because of COVID, our family was standing outside while I was giving birth on and off over the few days we were there. And it was super duper hot and miserable, so kudos to them, because that was, I'm sure, a lot of fun. Yeah, he was born 3 in the afternoon, and he weighed 8 pounds 6 ounces, and he was 21 and a half inches long, although his head shrunk a lot following his birth, because he had major cone head. It was
He had a gnarly cone head.
Yeah, for a day. It was pretty intense experience for both of us. I think especially for me. For me, it was pretty intense giving birth. He ended up coming a week after my due date. I was induced, which I would not recommend. And so all of my the many ways that I was trying to induce labor on time did not work. No matter how many times I watched Mamma Mia or how much time I spent on my yoga ball. Even when I was on the drugs that they give you and then the Pitocin, it took a couple days. So, first joys of first baby, I think.
We went in Monday night and we left the hospital Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
So it was we were living at the hospital for a little bit.
And we could have stayed another day, but but we were pretty eager to leave.
We were out of there.
Yeah.
4 days. Forget about it.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And I first kind of regretted not staying a little bit longer because there is so much that you can like learn from the nurses and stuff in terms of like breastfeeding and whatnot. But you know, it was nice to come home. Even like the first night, I think my mom stayed until like the middle of the night. So I was able to get a few hours of sleep. It's really hard in the first few days, at least with your first baby. I'm sure the next one will get more sleep. But we just like, or I just didn't really sleep because you don't want to leave the baby unattended. Like, they're so like brand new and tiny and like, you're afraid, I was afraid that like some weird like medical phenomenon was gonna happen and he was going to just, you know, be in distress and I was gonna be asleep and miss it or something. So you just don't really sleep. So that's how it was for the first like couple weeks, I'd say. I would maybe get like a few hours, you know, every night, and I was only getting like maybe 2-hour stretches, so it was rough. But luckily the sleep really figured itself out. He kind of naturally has fallen into that ideal sort of like, he goes to bed basically for like 12 hours every night, and he only gets up for maybe like an hour total, somewhere in the middle. And I get up for more than that, that's for sure. But he sleeps a ton, which is awesome. And naps are okay too, but you know, night sleep is great. Are you talking? Oh. But yeah, the hospital experience was pretty intense for both of us, I think.
Yeah, I get there. I show up, you know, put the car in park, go inside the building, talk to the security guard. Went through the COVID procedure, got my temperature checked. Got my temperature checked, and they were like, all right, yeah, you can go in. And so we went up there. Nurse tried to find an IV for like an hour and a half.
It took them like 6 or 7 tries to get an IV in my arm.
Set the tone.
It really did.
Went to bed. Well, yeah, and the nurses were like, okay, it might happen tomorrow. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, it's going to happen tomorrow. Water breaks at 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. I'm thinking, you know, COVID, there's no classes or anything. I didn't
Right, we didn't take any classes.
So I'm like, oh,
Showtime.
It's coming. Like, we're going to have a baby in a few hours.
Yeah, no.
Or like in the next 10 hours or something, you know?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen, and you get hooked up on more Pitocin and just start really hurting.
Yeah. What I imagined would be like a 6 or a 7 I was at, you know, more than 24 hours before I even had the baby. So that was really painful. And it was like difficult to monitor the baby's heart rate because my contractions were so strong, and I was in so much pain, like I couldn't stand to even like have my cervix checked. Like everything was so painful, and I was only at like 1.5-2 centimeters, you know, and not making any progress. Every 2 hours it was just like still 2 centimeters, still 2 centimeters, just nothing. And I was having the craziest contractions. Like you'd think I was making progress, and I just wasn't. So, I was on, like, pain meds. They were giving me... I stuck it out for a while. But I was just, like, crying. It was, like, really pathetic. Like, I was in a lot of pain, and it was just constant. Like, it kind of reached a point where by the time I had the baby, I couldn't tell the difference between when I was having a contraction and when I wasn't. And I had even had an epidural at that point. The epidural didn't really work. They had to, it was just a mess. Well, I got the epidural, fell asleep for a little bit, woke up, and my only one of my legs was numb. And the rest of me was very aware of what was going on.
Yeah.
And so that was a whole nightmare. That happened in the middle of the night on Tuesday. Never really got totally fixed. I was able to sleep. And that's when I made like major progress in terms of dilation. I woke up and was like 6.5, 7 centimeters, like finally after 2 days. I didn't do anything. You took a little bit of footage while we were there. You turned on the camera, so I wasn't aware of this. He turned on the camera, I think it's like 11 or something on Wednesday. And,
oh, really?
I must have told him to turn the camera on or something, which was stupid of me. It was when I think the doctor said I was like 9 centimeters or even all the way. I could have been 10 centimeters. And so I was like, turn on the camera, probably. So you did. And nothing's happening. I'm just in incredible pain and just whimpering. Maybe I'll put like a little bit of it in. But it's just like so pathetic and sad. I can barely watch it. I haven't even seen it. It's not. It's literally nothing. It's just me being so sad. It's just me being so sad. Man. Not even pushing. And you're just sitting there like holding my hand, and I'm just crying, and it's sad. That's really it. Yeah. So yeah, there came a point where like Chip was pretty close, and they had to go find the doctor, and so it was just Luke and me in the room. And he's like helping me push. I feel like we actually made a lot of progress when it was just me and you. Yeah, not long after that. He popped his little head out. We got his little shoulders out.
Oh, man. No, I mean, the head was out for like 20 minutes.
Not 20 minutes.
It was.
Was it really?
It was out for a long... All right, maybe like 15 minutes for sure. That head was like sticking out. That's why I was like, I cannot believe it hasn't come yet.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was fully out, and you could see his little ears, and then like an alien, like straight up cone head. Yeah. Straight up science fiction. Guy was kind of speechless. Totally.
Like he really was. He like couldn't even respond to me.
They handed me the scissors to cut the umbilical cord, and I had no idea what they were doing. They were just giving me this pair of scissors, and I was so out of it. I'm like, what are these? Like,
I thought that was funny. They never discussed with him before.
No, they didn't ask me. Like, what if I didn't want to do that?
I know, because like I don't know if I would want to. I'd be like, nah, you can do that part.
It's harder to cut than what the TV like makes it. It makes it seem like it's just a snip. No, it's like you got to give it a few good good snips there, and it bleeds everywhere.
Huh.
Oh, can I say something?
Huh.
To all the guys that may be watching this that haven't had a kid and maybe have some anxiety about it. Dude, it ain't that bad. It is so overblown.
What part?
Just the whole like, oh dude, it is gnarly. It's not that gnarly.
Oh, like the giving birth?
No, it's not. It is not. There's like this big thing that it's like, oh, it's like so nasty and just like unbelievable. And like, dude, it's fun. It is so fun. Right. Like, forget about that. People love to commiserate, you know? Yeah. Just be like, oh my god, it was so fucked up.
True.
From like, obviously the person like that wasn't in pain.
Right.
Like hearing like 30-hour labor, it's like, it was a lot. But for the most part, for the bystander, it wasn't that bad. The only thing that was upsetting was the failed epidural.
Yeah. Because
that was just like, all right, this is our last little chance to like get rest before the big moment, you know? Yeah. And it failed. And they're like, and they had like no idea. They were like, I guess it didn't work.
Right. That was really frustrating for me because I was like, you know, obviously I was really upset that the epidural failed, and like it was the middle of the night. The anesthesiologist had to come back after coming home, and like, you know, I was in a lot of pain, but I was in the same amount of pain before I got the epidural anyway. So I was just kind of like, let's fix this. But then they kind of treated it like, we don't really know why it didn't work. I
think they didn't know.
They really didn't know.
But they kind of played it off like, oh, I think something got like fell out of place, like the tube that goes in your back like got kind of dislodged or something. But I could tell that they were kind of like,
they were just kind of trying to explain it away.
I don't really
know. I get it. If there's not an explanation, there's not an explanation, and we just have to deal with that. But it was a little bit like, I couldn't tell if they were like questioning whether I was, you know.
I think they were feeling you out a little bit because I think they were like, this should be working,
right?
Know? So I guess let's just do it again.
Yeah, and it's not, you know, I don't know, but it was a little bit disappointing to have that one thing that like, you know, you go into labor, if you're expecting to have a medicated labor, you're like, well, at least I know I will get to have an epidural, and then things will be okay, and I'll be able to kind of just relax and let things take its course. And then you get the epidural, and it doesn't work. It's like,
it works for a little bit though. It was so funny. It was
like an hour.
It was so funny. You were like,
hi.
Yeah, the nurses were laughing at you at the things you were saying. I can't remember specifically what you were saying.
I was just goofing around because it was such a relief.
You were like, cool, like kind of being like, all right,
being stoned as hell. Yeah, I mean, it's just like when you go from being like at a 10 to then like being like totally relieved, it's like unbelievable. It was so great. But then it just kind of settled, and yeah.
Oh, that was for the person who didn't go through the actual pain, that was the most like pain in the ass part, which is like most people don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So like people like having kids, like do not.
Most of the time your epidural is totally gonna work, and if my epidural had totally worked, this would have been honestly mostly a breeze.
Yeah. Even the 30-hour thing wouldn't have been like,
yeah, whatever.
So
time
crazy.
is time. At the end of it, you're gonna have a baby.
You can watch TV and like
we like ate food.
Yeah, we watched an American Pickers marathon, which was crazy.
It was crazy.
But it was like weird. It was nice. No, it was all good. And the kid's born and they leave, which is kind of it's great actually.
Who leaves?
Like everybody, the nurses, doctors, they kind of let you have your time.
Seriously.
And then the gears seemed to switch over to like breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And like going through that whole thing.
The lactation consultant that I've seen since having him was the one who was there when he was born, and she's great. Unfortunately, it just didn't really work out at first. He just didn't have a deep enough latch. He just couldn't latch for more than, I mean, most of the time it was just a few seconds, let alone even just like a minute or two. So he just wasn't getting enough. So in the beginning, we supplemented with a little bit of formula. Oh, I forgot to mention the night we got home, I had to go to the emergency room because I just started bleeding like an insane amount as soon as we got home, which I hadn't really been bleeding that much at all in the hospital after having him, just kind of like the normal amount. But as soon as we got home, it was like the dam broke. And luckily we live right by an emergency room, but it was still awful. Like I had to just immediately leave him with his grandparents and just go.
Oh yeah, we have a house full of family.
We had a house full of people.
It's just like going from a stressful environment to not just like a bunch of family, you know. And then like, like things are going south, you know.
And I mean, I just had him, 36 hours earlier, and I was an emotional wreck. I was so hormonal. I couldn't stop just sobbing. I was just weeping constantly because I had to leave him, and I knew that they were gonna have to feed him formula. Luckily we had just like ready-made formula in the cupboard, and so I quickly like showed them how to use it and was like, I gotta go. And we were there for like a couple hours or whatever. At least it felt like a couple hours. And we ended up just leaving because they like took my vitals, and my vitals were okay. And I was like, okay, I'm leaving then. Like, I don't care. As long as my blood pressure's okay. Like, I'll deal with the bleeding. Whatever. Like, I don't care. They were like, we'll do a pelvic exam. I'm like, I have stitches. I'm not going to do a pelvic exam. I have a baby at home. Goodbye. So we went home.
And it's kind of the trashy hospital.
I know. So we go into this like ER that's like chaotic, and there's like
with COVID going on, it's all screwed up.
Ugh, it was awful. I hated it.
It was nuts.
And then so we're getting discharged from the ER, and I'm already just such a wreck, and we go to leave, and I just bleed all over the floor.
I forgot about that.
Out of the hospital.
And they were like, shit.
And
they were like disappointed. They were
right.
Like, God
there
damn
was like
it.
one nurse who was like really sympathetic and who was like helpful, but it seemed like everybody else was like, what the hell are these people doing?
Yeah, you gotta be kidding me.
Like, I come in without a mask because it's like an emergency, and I like, didn't grab a mask on my way out, and they're like, like just attitude about it, and I bleed on the floor, and it's like, ugh, and I'm like in a crisis, and these people were being kind of awful, so I hate that place now. Yeah. It was awful. Bubby. Oh.
But yeah, it's been great. It's actually surprisingly been like, it doesn't actually seem like, obviously it's a big change, but it already feels completely normal.
And it felt completely normal, like, really
Quickly.
quick.
Yeah. I would say 3 weeks in, I was just like, this is
it.
And it wasn't crazy or anything, and I feel a lot more, like, calm now.
Yeah. It feels so much better than the waiting process. Like, it's so nice to just have him here. He just kind of, like, fit right into our life in a way that I just didn't expect. So that's been great.
Yeah, I thought it'd be, different.
Yeah.
But I remember back in, like, July being like, I just can't wait till October.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
And
I
it's
was
like,
right.
yeah, he was
I
right.
was right. Like, this is, like, totally chill.
Yeah.
The baby's good to go. He's smiling and whatnot now.
It's a relief when they start smiling, because it's sort of like how we signal to each other that we're, like, happy, and that's how we, like, communicate with each other. And so it's nice that he's now able to do that.
Like, in good eye contact. Just stares at you and smiles.
Yeah, and you can talk to him and he'll kind of talk back. And,
Yeah.
It really is great. I definitely, especially in the first few weeks, like, every day that would go by, I was, like, really emotional about how much he was changing and growing, and, like, and that's totally normal. Like, I would just cry, and, like, I hated that he was getting bigger and, like, sizing out of his newborn diapers, and, like, when he got out of his newborn clothes, that was really intense. But now it's, like, kind of fun. Now I can just kind of enjoy it. I feel like that's, like, mostly a hormonal thing. You just don't want them, you just want to keep them in that like, little fetal stage. Chip, you need to finish eating. I feel like we haven't shown him off enough.
Oh, he's been in the video.
Cutie baby falling asleep.
We still got to do the voting thing. We hold hands and vote.
Yeah, Luke for some reason wants to hold hands and vote together.
Yeah.
Although,
And put it online and be like, do it.
I don't want to
Go
invalidate
vote.
my vote.
Would that invalidate it?
I don't know. I know in some places you can't take a picture of it.
What?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's BS. I'm not gonna vote then. If you're not
gonna let me put it in my vlog,
I'm not gonna vote.
then I'm not gonna vote. Can you guys believe these scratches that my baby gave me? Do you see that? I'm distracted by it. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think I'm gonna start growing out a soul patch right here.
That would be very dad of you. Okay. Are there any dadisms that you've picked up? Has there been any change within you that you recognize as being a dadly thing?
Oh god, yeah. I just feel different.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, I'm just more like, calm's probably the wrong word, but I just don't care as much anymore. It's true.
That's good.
It's true.
Well,
just
yeah,
don't
I
care.
guess in the context of you, that's a good thing. Because Luke is kind of an uptight person. Uptight might be the wrong word. I don't want to offend you. He's, very,
I'm a little OCD when it comes to not even OCD, I'm just
Yeah, it's not
particular
OCD.
about my, habits.
yeah, he's particular. Luke is a particular person. And it's a part of why he's, like, a successful, well-rounded person, is because he is so, keeps it high and tight.
I'm
in
anal.
his life. He's anal. He is anal. And it's good that one of us is, because I am not anal. I'm very I'm 12. So it's nice that he's anal. About some things.
But I'm not anymore. I don't care.
Yeah, he's a lot less anal since having the baby. Yeah, you've been eating cookies.
I know, it's so bad.
It's so bad. You guys, he's been eating cookies. Luke does not eat stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've been making
you
them.
you keep making them.
I keep making them because my diet has become more restricted since having him, because I can't eat dairy anymore because of, he has an allergy. So I don't know, just to compensate for not being able to have cheese and stuff. And I can't even really go out to eat anymore because I have to be really careful. So I have to make everything. So I'm I want to, cookies. I want apple crisp. Yesterday I made apple crisp.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
I'm a dad now, so
So it's all good. Doesn't matter
I'm not
if
gonna
you.
eat cookies at all. I'm done.
I don't know if I've changed a ton since having him. I did struggle a little bit. I mean, I did have a rage moment earlier, but I've had some rage. There's been some rage.
We need to keep that in the video,
No.
dude. So
We didn't
some
film it.
behind the scenes action.
No, we don't.
We
need to put that
should.
on
We
the
should
video.
be like totally authentic.
Just how kind of awful I can be sometimes.
It would. I think people would like to see that. People would be like, "Oh, this is really what happens in these videos."
I can just kind of flip a switch and become terrible. I try not to, but it's just how it is. They talk about it, mom rage. It's a thing. I'm not blaming
it's
it.
vlogger rage.
It is vlogger rage. It's YouTuber
predates
rage.
your motherhood.
It does. I'm a little bit of a control freak. I'm not a good communicator sometimes. And I'm a little bit of a B word. I'm a B word, okay? It's all good. Do you think he looks like me?
Yeah.
No. We look nothing alike. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my baby. He has not loved this experience, but I'm sure it'll get better. He's a little bit confused as to what we're doing. But yeah, I'll try to put out some more videos. I was thinking the other day, I will wrap it up, but I was thinking the other day about how I started to make videos because I felt like really isolated when I got sober. And it was like a good way to like, just like connect with like my friends and my family and just like people, and it really helped me a lot. And it's funny how I'm in like the most literally isolated time of my life. Like we're in COVID and I just had a baby and I never see anybody and I just like stopped filming. It's so stupid. So blah, blah, blah. I'll try to film more. And I'll try to not rage and be a total B word about it. Harmony in the home, a B word. Oh, happy Halloween, guys. This is probably gonna, coincide a little bit with Halloween. Happy Halloween all year round. From Chip. Chip says, happy Halloween. Okay, we love you guys. See you later. Goodbye.